Standing in the middle of the World Tournament arena, the Z-Fighters look on in pure terror at the awakening of the ultimate evil, Majin Buu. However, the audience is confused at what they're seeing. The tournament got interrupted yet again, but this time by a giant pink blob with a diaper. At first, Majin Buu didn't seem to act like some horrific monster of legend. It just seemed whimsical and excited. It hopped around the arena as if playing hopscotch, while Babidi desperately tried to give it orders. But to the Z-Fighters and Shin, they could recognize just how terrifying the situation truly was. They could sense the Majin's ki, and it was unbelievable. They had never sensed a ki as large nor as malevolent as this before. Even Shin could barely comprehend it. The Buu standing before them now was leagues ahead of the monster he once witnessed countless millennia ago. The massive amount of energy he had obtained from the Saiyans over the course of the day had skyrocketed Buu's power to untold heights. The Z-Fighters were paralyzed by fear, but to the average audience member, all they felt was annoyance. As Buu continued to laugh and glee, several agitated spectators began throwing popcorn, trash, and anything else they could get their hands on straight at Majin Buu. They were booing and groaning, heckling Buu and yelling at him to get off the stage. Goku cries out for everyone to run away as Vegeta yells at the crowd to stop what they're doing and flee if they value their lives. But it was too late. Buu didn't like being yelled at. Steam shot out from his head as an eerie smile formed on his face. With sadistic glee, Majin Buu points his antenna at the crowd. In a moment of shock and despair, the ancient evil shoots out a pink beam towards the crowd as he turned an entire section of the audience into candy. Little Bra looks at the beam, transfixed at the light as it nearly reaches her. Grandpa Gohan, the one nearest to her, jumps in the way of the blast. Bra cries out in agony as her beloved great-grandfather is turned into a candy bar right before her eyes. In an instant, the various pieces of candy and chocolate are magically pulled towards the arena as Majin Buu sucks them up into his mouth and eats them. Goku and Vegeta stare in awe. In just a few moments, all these innocent people had died, including their grandfather. Goku and Vegeta roar in anger, their ki rising towards the heavens as Majin Buu finishes feasting on these snacks. He notices their ascending power and laughs.
Woo! You guys look fun! You want to play with Buu?
I'll do more than play with you. I'll tear you apart for what you did to my grandfather. We'll never forgive you.
The two Saiyans charge towards Majin Buu with their fists outstretched as a new battle of fate is decided. As the remaining Z-Fighters try to help lead the various survivors away from the World Tournament arena, they can only place their remaining hopes on Goku and Vegeta. Yet, they knew this battle wouldn't be won by mere faith. More than anyone else they have ever fought, Majin Buu was proving to be Goku and Vegeta's greatest challenge yet. Not only was his power absolutely absurd, his strange abilities were constantly catching the pair off guard. Vegeta in his Super Saiyan 3 state had power that rivaled Buu, yet he was constantly trying and failing to find a way to hurt the genie. Goku did his best to provide as much support as possible, but they weren't making any progress. Every punch, kick, and ki blast they would launch would go through the beast, and if any hit did land, Buu would just reform himself as if nothing happened. All the while, Babidi laughs with demented glee. These pitiful worms were doomed. No matter how much golden hair they grew, they were simply fodder for Majin Buu to grind into dust. As the Z-Fighters attempted to escort as many people away from the tournament arena, Raditz looks on from the stands in fear. He couldn't move. Majin Buu was just so strong. He had no hope of winning if he tried to fight. Should he attempt to side with Babidi once more? No. He already awakened Buu. He was useless to him now. Once again, just like the Core Clan's invasion of Earth, Raditz was at the crossroads. Should he run? Should he stand with his fellow Saiyans? He just didn't know what to do.
If you're not going to fight, then move out of the way.
Vegeta shouted at everyone remaining in the arena as Raditz snapped out of his daze. No, he wouldn't allow himself to be disposed of. Not again. As Goku and Vegeta regrouped, they started to formulate a new strategy. Vegeta had been using Super Saiyan 3 far longer than he'd expected. As powerful as this form was, it had a fatal flaw. It drained tremendous amounts of stamina. He didn't know how much longer he could last in this form. Not only that, Goku was exhausted from his battle against Vegeta, yet Buu seemed completely fine. They could never win a war like this. The battle needed to end immediately. If Buu could simply regenerate from their attacks, then they simply had to keep blasting the beast until nothing remained. In unison, the brothers dashed towards the Majin with dazzling speed. Vegeta unleashed a devastating barrage of precise punches and kicks as Goku rushed forward with a right hook. When Buu is knocked back, Vegeta fires a salvo of ki blasts at his foe as Goku charges a Kamehameha. But Buu attempts to escape until he realizes he's surrounded by a dozen ki bullets. With nowhere to run, Goku launches his charged Kamehameha as Vegeta retracts his spears. The beam and the ki mines strike Buu at once, the resulting explosion cracking the island beneath them. The brothers stand on guard, waiting to see if their opponent is truly defeated, as all that remained was dust-sized particles floating in the air. Was that enough? Babidi, who was observing the battle from afar, started to panic. These Saiyans were strong. Too strong. Majin Buu was supposed to be the ultimate weapon, yet he was struggling this much? Was it already dead? No, that was impossible. Although, just in case, perhaps he should retreat while he has the chance. Yes, he'd escape and use as much of his magic as possible to rebuild Majin Buu later. Then, they return, refreshed and ready to annihilate the planet. However, he feels a brooding presence behind him, radiating killing intent.
Consider this my resignation.
Before he could even act, Babidi is blasted to smithereens by Raditz, the man he had manipulated to be his minion. Goku was glad to see Raditz acting like his usual self again, while Vegeta just scoffed. He reminds Raditz to not feel too proud of himself for getting rid of such a weakling, but he does commend the Saiyan for taking the first step at getting his own life back. Raditz doesn't know what to say. He never expected the prince to give him support, yet here he was now. Life works in mysterious ways. A shout is heard in the distance as Gohan, Trunks, and Piccolo fly towards them. Piccolo asks if the battle is over, and Goku gives them a thumbs up. It sure was. All that remained was nothing more than small specks. They couldn't even detect his presence anymore. The boys celebrate, and Vegeta sighs in relief. They shouldn't waste any more time. They should head back to their friends and family. Everyone was surprised by the suggestion, especially the somber tone of voice. Raditz wonders what he should do, but Goku encourages him to come along. Without any delay, the Z-Fighters reunite at the destroyed tournament grounds. Even so, they could feel happiness and relief that the world was saved. But Vegeta didn't join in those celebrations. If this was about Grandpa Gohan, then they shouldn't worry. They still have Dragon Balls, right? They can revive everyone killed by Buu's rampage. But Vegeta didn't respond, as Brad tugged on her father's hand, asking what was wrong.
It's because his time is up. We got to go, Vegeta.
Everyone turned around to see fortune teller Baba, who suddenly appeared, as if from thin air. No one knew what she meant, but Vegeta sighed once again. With a heavy heart, Vegeta started to explain. When he was originally brought back to Earth, he had to accept certain conditions from Baba. One of them was not to use too much power, and he had used nearly all of it in the battles against Buu. Now he had to return. Everyone was shocked and upset. He barely got to spend any time there. Grandpa Gohan was already gone. They couldn't lose him too. Vegeta kneeled down as he wiped tears from his daughter's eyes. He wouldn't be gone forever. He'd come back once again and be strong enough to defeat anyone that comes their way. Bra wipes the snot from her face, and with a huff, she shouts that she'd only accept that if he gives her a pinky promise. There's nothing more important than that. Vegeta smiles and accepts, giving a pinky promise to his daughter. And so, with a melancholic goodbye, Bulma and Trunks begin to cheer up. Raditz felt awkward and out of place, but Vegeta reiterated to him that now it was time to change his life. No one else could choose fate for him. Shin thanks Vegeta and the rest for their assistance. They had saved the universe. King Kai had made a wise choice, taking him as his pupil. In the end, only one left to say his final goodbyes was Goku. Goku stretched out his hand and bids farewell to his brother. Yet, in a move that once again surprises everyone, Vegeta pulls in Goku for a hug. He was just full of surprises today. Goku didn't know how to react, but he whispers in his ear that he's glad that there are strong people such as him he can rely on to protect Earth. Goku grins happily, and he tells Vegeta to always count on him. If he really wanted to, maybe they could pinky promise too. Vegeta loses his cool and shouts at Kakarot to shut up. Everyone couldn't help but laugh. Now this was the Vegeta they knew. And with that, Vegeta heads over to Baba. He was ready. He gives them all a solemn smile as he disappears into the ether. The Supreme Kai thanks everyone for their help once again. For now, he will head to the other world to not only reunite with Kibito, but also make sure Babidi and Buu were sent to hell. The Z-Fighters wave goodbye as Shin disappears from sight too. With the day saved, what is left to do? After all the death and destruction, the World Tournament was surely cancelled. Bulma reminds everyone that they still need to gather the Dragon Balls in order to bring everyone back. Gohan decides to check up on Videl, who had gone back home with her father. He promises to return soon and help with the research. Even as Trunks teases him for running off to his girlfriend, the Z-Fighters scatter to their next adventure. And Goku can only look at the spot where Vegeta once stood. Krillin asks his best friend if he's missing him already, but Goku stays silent. Krillin is nervous at the sudden silence as Goku looks at his hand. He was sticky.
Huh?
His back. It was really sticky.
Oh, that's pretty gross.
It didn't feel right. It felt off.
Are you sure you're not overthinking things? He was probably pretty sweaty from all the fighting. Come on, your wife and kids are waiting for you. We got Dragon Balls to find, remember?
Yeah, maybe you're right. Hey Raditz, come with us. You've never lived until you've had a Dragon Ball hunt. Without the ability to teleport, it takes a while for the heroes to find the Dragon Balls. Raditz, who was dragged along by Goku, started to enjoy the experience as he saw more amazing sights that the Earth had to offer. Raditz also gets to spend more time with Bra and Goten, wondering if he could possibly ever be forgiven for his crimes and settle down like Vegeta did. This was his second chance and he didn't want to mess it up. After a few hours, the Dragon Balls were found and taken to Capsule Corp, where Shenron was summoned, leaving Raditz in awe. However, as the Z-Fighters were about to use Shenron to bring back everyone killed by Majin Buu, they hear a massive shout yelling at them to stop. They all turn around to see who was yelling at them, but no one was there. The cries echo in their heads once again, begging them to stop the wish. Were they receiving a distress call in their minds? No one knows who this voice is coming from. Goten politely asks the voice to please calm down as it takes what sounds like a deep breath. The voice introduces himself as King Kai, Vegeta's master and the guardian Kai of the North Galaxy. He is there to warn everyone that Majin Buu isn't dead. Everyone gasps as Piccolo snarls in disbelief. No, that was impossible. They couldn't sense his ki after Goku and Vegeta's combined attack. He had to be dead. Yet, Goku wasn't sure, but he felt after touching Vegeta's back. That sticky gunk. Was that Majin Buu? According to the Kai, somehow, someway, Majin Buu returned and reappeared in other worlds, causing untold chaos and destruction in his wake. He is currently fighting off all the champions in Otherworld, beating each and every one of them. Vegeta is the only one left standing against them. There was no other powerful fighters in heaven. Otherworld needs their help. Without any hesitation, Goku declares that he will fight. It was his negligence that let Majin Buu return. He needed to defeat him once and for all. Gohan, Trunks, and Piccolo, and even Raditz announced that they want to assist as well. In particular, Raditz didn't want to feel indebted to the prince. He wanted to start his new life with no debts. They wonder how they'll head to Otherworld. They didn't have to die, did they? In the middle of their thoughts, a panicking Shin teleports to them, and he asks everyone if they heard about Majin Buu. They nod, as Shin tells everyone that they can't waste any time, to all the fighters willing to lend their hand, thus teleporting to the other world. Throughout this whole ordeal, Shenron is left forgotten, waiting for someone to make the wish. Deep in the spiritual realm, the Z-Fighters arrive at the Grand Kai's planet, where they witness a gruesome sight. On what should be a tranquil training ground for the greatest warriors in the universe, all that remained was a war zone. Heaven was burning, laid upon the dirt were the beaten bodies of the champions of Otherworld, and standing over them was Majin Buu. However, he looked different than before. Buu wasn't fat and round anymore, he was chiseled, now filled to the brim with muscle and power. Beating down all of heaven must have been quite a workout. Standing next to Buu, covered in blood and panting profusely, was Vegeta. Trunks shouted at his father, bursting into Super Saiyan as he charged towards the monster. Vegeta saw his son approaching rapidly and yelled at him to stay back. Trunks landed a punch straight into Buu's face, but the monster didn't even flinch. Instead, it twisted its head around completely like an owl, delighted to see a new face.
Yay! You want to play with Boo? Boo hopes you don't break like the other guys.
Oh no, Buu headbutts Trunks, sending him flying into a nearby cloud as the rest of the Saiyans and Piccolo rush forward. Gohan, Raditz, and Goku burst into Super Saiyan and charge in together as Buu chuckles in delight. This was going to be fun. The battle of fate for the universe resumed. Vegeta was shocked to see his family and Raditz here out of all places. Majin Buu was incredibly motivated and just as strong as he ever was. However, it very quickly became apparent that this battle was far too dangerous for this plane of existence. Surrounding the Grand Kai's planet were the wounded warriors of Otherworld, as well as countless innocent spirits with no ways to defend themselves. If they died, the souls would be erased forever. Naturally, Majin Buu did not care about causing this destruction, as he fired volleys of ki blast, elongated punches, and candy beams through the Grand Kai's place. The Z-Fighters blocked the intense strikes and attacks, gaining devastating injuries in the process, except for Raditz. He didn't really care about anything besides fighting Buu. Shin, who knew he'd be unable to fight against this ancient adversary, teleported across the battlefield, rescuing anybody he could. Even if he was weak, he was still the Kaioshin. It was his duty to save as many people as possible. During the fight, Buu nearly kills the Grand Kai and a group of wounded Otherworld warriors with a string of ki blasts that Piccolo tanks with all his might. However, the maneuver leaves him wide open. Stretching out his hands, Majin Buu unleashes an intense flurry of punches that strike Piccolo with lightning-fast speed. Piccolo's body is broken from the onslaught as he's grabbed by the cackling genie. However, in a move of unbelievable bravery, the Grand Kai orders Majin Buu to stop, pulling out a boombox. The Grand Kai attempts to intimidate the monster into letting go of the valiant green fighter. The bluff doesn't work. However, what does work is the boombox. Majin Buu was so enchanted with the rock music playing from the the boombox that he dropped Piccolo and started to dance to the beat of the music. Using this chance given to them by the Grand Kai, Gohan and the reluctant Raditz lunged with all their might to catch Piccolo, Grand Kai, and the injured fighters. Vegeta, Goku, and Trunks banded together to fire a triple Gallic gun straight into their foe, blasting off half their body and destroying the Grand Kai's mansion. However, Buu recovers rapidly from the pieces into 5 separate Buus.
That looks like fun. Who wants to do it too?
All 5 Buus cup their hands together and fire back the same purple key ball. No way, that can't be.
That isn't what I think it is it?
That's Vegeta's technique. The Grand Kai planet erupts beneath their feet as the Z Fighters dive into the clouds. The force of the explosion scatters all of them throughout the other world as multiple copies of Buu chased after them. Vegeta, who had crashed into the fields of flowers, recomposed himself as he looked at his surroundings. The nearby souls had ran away from the field, afraid. He was now alone, or was he? Looking up at the Buu that had followed him, Vegeta declared that he will not allow this dishonor to stand, bursting into Super Saiyan 3 once more. Without a mortal body, nor time limit, nothing could restrict him anymore. Vegeta was going to use his full power.
I figured it out earlier. The key to defeating you is crushing you so thoroughly that there's nothing left for you to come back from. I wonder, does a pink blob of goo like you feel fear? I hope you do, because you're about to witness death itself.
Vegeta roars, veins popping across his forehead as his long, wild hair dances in the wind. The field of flowers around him carried off from the force as the prince's golden aura suddenly turns into a crimson red.
Kaioken times 20!
In a stunning display of power that shakes the entirety of heaven itself, Buu can only watch, stunned in silence, as sweat starts to drip from his face. Covered in a bright red aura of ferocity, Vegeta grins maliciously.
What you see before you is the culmination of humanity and the Saiyan race. Every Saiyan warrior, every martial artist, the battles they fought, all the blood, sweat, and tears they've shed, the entire history of both races, their collective knowledge and experiences led to this moment. To me, to your demise. From the moment you were created, you were destined to die by my hands. Don't worry, I'll end you quickly.
For the first time, Majin Buu panics. Before he can even defend himself, Buu's entire body erupts in a massive shower of pink droplets. With unparalleled speed and power coursing through his veins, Vegeta fires a point-blank final flash that incinerates Buu into oblivion. Not even a single atom remained. However, this wasn't over yet, not by a long shot. There were at least 4 other Buus out there, dispersed through other worlds. Without Shin anywhere nearby, Vegeta would have to search for the remaining Buus on his own. He only hoped that this angelic body of his could handle the strain of both Super Saiyan 3 and Kaioken. With no time to waste, Vegeta bolted out of the field, faster than light. Throughout heaven, the various spiritual beings that lived there weren't able to comprehend what was happening. All they saw was fleeting streaks of red light, as if they had witnessed the trailblaze of a shooting star. In reality, it was Vegeta who was traveling through the entire length of Otherworld and back, in search of his prey. He found one Majin Buu standing over the defeated Raditz, attempting to swallow several floating spirits at the airport. The beast was atomized before it could even get a chance to react. There was another Buu at the check-in station who was about to turn Piccolo, Gohan, and King Yama into chocolate. He was annihilated before a single candy beam was fired. At King Kai's planet, Bubbles, King Kai, and Trunks were getting chased by Buu when the genie suddenly disappeared in a crimson flash.
Wait a minute, that energy, it feels like my dad!
Now there was only one Buu left. Using the last remnants of his strength, Vegeta circles back around Otherworld as he attempts to feel the monster's key. Eventually, he finds one, arriving at the Otherworld tournament arena again. Of course, the final Majin Buu would be here. The prince rockets to unleash this final blow against Buu. He was distracted, terrorizing various souls. But unfortunately, at the moment that mattered most, the Kaioken dissipated. Vegeta's body seized up in immense pain, dropping out of Super Saiyan 3, screaming out as he loses control over himself. As the prince crashes into the arena, Buu points and laughs at Vegeta. What a dummy. This couldn't be happening. He was so close to winning. Majin Buu approaches the writhing Saiyan, his hand outstretched with glowing ki and a manic smile forming across his face. Vegeta closes his eyes, preparing for the end. Yet, the end doesn't come. Instead, a loud blip is heard as a foot appears out of nowhere, kicking Buu across the stage in a surprise attack. Vegeta suddenly feels his muscles start to relax. He looks up to see Shin healing him. The Supreme Kai smiles, thanking Vegeta for fighting so hard by himself. It gave him the time to find some of his friends. They take it from here. The prince turns around to see Piccolo, Gohan, Trunks, Raditz, and a massive army of rejuvenated Otherworld warriors. They were healed and ready to have their payback. As the army collides sides with Majin Buu, Vegeta can only lay on the ground and watch as he recovers. Shin couldn't believe the amount of damage Vegeta had received. The recoil from the Kaioken and the strain from Super Saiyan 3 was extraordinary. If the prince wasn't so strong already, he would have died again. But Vegeta needed to get out there. Despite their best efforts, one by one, the other world warriors fell. Vegeta could only wonder what happened to Kakarot. Where the hell was he? He hadn't been killed, right? Oh, that couldn't be right. That was impossible. Distracted by the bickering, the pair don't even notice Buu hovering over them. Buu nearly kills Shin and Vegeta with a Gallic gun, but Raditz, unwilling to let Vegeta die, jumps in the way of the attack. The Z-Fighters gasp in horror as Raditz falls to the floor, dead. All that remained was Gohan, Trunks, and Piccolo, and the last remaining warrior of Otherworld, a green man with a turban with a familiar face. But there was one more, an old man with a gentle face filled with burning resolve.
I've had enough. Leave my family alone. Leave this realm at once.
I agree with the Earthling. This is the sacred tournament arena of Otherworld. This was to be a place where Vegeta and I would have a rematch. Heaven is my home, and these valiant warriors have been my allies for thousands of years. For their honor, for Vegeta's honor, I'll end you, Majin Buu.
Let's talk more punchy.
The battle continues, as Pikkon and Trunks combine their wind-based attacks to create an immensely potent hurricane that tears Buu apart, as Gohan and Piccolo fire a twin light grenade, and at the center of it all, Grandpa Gohan fired his signature Kamehameha. The combined techniques almost work, but they weren't quite able to completely atomize the pink fiend. As Buu regenerates, he rushes in to strike Gohan, but the attack is blocked by none other than Raditz. With a halo hovering over his head, Raditz declares that not even death could keep him from fighting. He would never rest until this battle was done. That's the spirit, Raditz. I knew you had it in ya.
What the? Uncle Kakarot? Dad! Boy, am I glad to see you, son. Took you long enough, fool.
Sorry for the wait, Vegeta. I had to do something important real quick, but don't worry. I'll take it from here. Hovering over them all was Goku, holding a massive sword, as standing by his side was none other than Kibito. A halo swaying over his head. Following the destruction of the Grand Kai's planet, Goku was found by the deceased who brought him over to the world of the Kais. They couldn't just stay there and watch, not with Majin Buu around. After getting his wounds healed, Goku was ready to return back to the fight. However, Kibito requested that he stays back a moment. He wasn't sure about this. He hated giving this to a mortal, but Kibito knew this could be their only chance. After a short explanation of the Z-Sword, Goku was pumped and eager to answer to the challenge. It took a while and required most of his power, but in the end, Goku was able to pull it out. He needed to train with the sword for as long as he could. He could already feel himself getting stronger, while also sensing the immense power Vegeta and Buu were releasing. Back in the present, Goku readies the sword as he lunges at Buu. He wouldn't allow anyone to hurt his family again. Goku and Buu are locked in an intense combat as Kibito attempts to heal Vegeta alongside Shin. The Z-Sword was incredibly sharp and heavy, easily slicing through Buu. However, Buu reformed once more every single time. Goku was panicking, pulling the sword and demanding Buu to let go, as the sword was still stuck inside. Buu blows raspberries in response, pulling back as the two fighters engage in a fierce tug-of-war back and forth, until snap. Oh no.
You broke the Z-Sword?
No, I didn't. He did.
Nuh-uh.
What do you mean, nuh-uh?
Ah, yes, finally. I'm out of that musty sword.
Huh? Everyone was shocked to see the Z-Sword breaking, but even more shocked to see an old Kai suddenly appear from thin air. Goku dropkicks Buu out of there. The strange old man gets angry, telling his youngsters to respect his elders, after being called an old man so many times. He was the Elder Kai, the wisest and oldest Supreme Kai of all. Shin and Kibito's jaw drops to the floor. As the heroes continue to fight against Buu, the other Kai is caught up to speed. He understood that Buu was a dangerous guy, but he couldn't understand why they hadn't tried fusion yet. Vegeta had heard of that term before during his time in Otherworld. He recalled encountering a pair of Metamorians who showed off that technique. They offered to teach it to him, but he was not interested in fusing with anyone, especially not with that ridiculous dance. The Elder Kai shakes his head. He didn't mean the fusion dance. He points to Shin's earring, talking about the Potara fusion. It came at a terrible cost, however. They could never be separated again. Vegeta jolts up as Shin pleads with him to sit back down. He still hasn't completed healing. Vegeta couldn't sit down anymore. He demands that the Kai hands over the earrings immediately. Shin doesn't know if fusing with him would be much help, but Vegeta shouts that he would never fuse with him. He's talking about someone else.
Kakarot, look at me. Take this earring, quick.
Huh? Okay, sure, Vegeta. Should I put this on?
Yes, put it on your right ear. After we put this on, we'll fuse. We'll become a single warrior, and we'll be strong enough to defeat that pink freak. But if we do it, we'll never be ourselves again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Wait, that's it? You're willing to accept that fate that quickly?
Well, it's not like I have much of a choice. Besides, there's no one else I'd rather fuse with than you. You're my brother. We're in this together no matter what.
You never cease to surprise me, Kakarot.
Okay, let's do it, Vegeta! Pikkon, Grandpa Gohan, Piccolo, Gohan, Trunks, and Raditz struggled to hold back Majin Buu, as steam poured from Majin's head. He wasn't having fun anymore. He was ready to blow up this entire place. As he started to gather his ki, a massive pillar of light shone nearby. The Z-Fighters and Buu look up in awe as a single man bursts forth from the radiant beam. The ultimate fusion born from the bonds between brothers had arrived at the scene. Majin Buu was stunned at the power he felt emanating from the fusion, nearly paralyzed. Vegeta taunted Buu, eager to see what this bubblegum was made of. The fear within Buu was replaced with seething anger. As Majin Buu lunged at Vegeta, it was no use. The fuse fighter was dodging every single strike with ease, yawning without a care in the world. Majin Buu's rage grew even more as Vegeta continued to treat him like a joke. The Z-Fighters couldn't believe that Vegeta was this grossly overpowered, but was he capable of killing Buu? In contrast, Grandpa Gohan could only look on in pride. His boys were finally working together in perfect harmony. Their stances, their moves, it was poetry in motion. All they could do now was place their hopes on this savior. Eventually, Vegeta blocks Buu's punches with a single finger, declaring that it was fun, but it's his turn. Grabbing onto his antenna, Vegeta knocked Buu around like a paddle ball. Every punch hurt Buu. It was unlike any pain he had felt before. The fusion slams Buu into the ground, cracking the tournament arena into rubbles, as Buu pops like a balloon. But it wasn't over yet. In an instant, the particles swirled together in vortex, and like a cotton candy machine, thin pink threads began to mix together, reforming Majin Buu. Furious beyond belief, Buu roared.
You make Boo very angry! Boo blew you all away!
Realizing what was about to happen, Vegeta merely smirks. Aw, that's cute. Throwing a temper tantrum. You may act innocent, but you're deadly. There's no place for you here. It's about time I spank you and put you to bed, once and for all. Vegeta bursts into Super Saiyan as he generates a sword made completely out of golden ki. As Majin Buu prepares to erupt, the entirety of heaven swirls and shakes. Reality was seemingly tearing apart, but despite it all, Vegeta's cocky smile never wavered. With a single swipe of his hand, Majin Buu was sliced into two. Piccolo shouts that that simple slice won't work, but Vegeta knew that.
I'll keep slicing and dicing, Boo. I'll slice you down to the last atom until absolutely nothing remains. This is the power of the Saiyans. This is the power of Earth. And this is the power of Super Vegito.
Majin Buu couldn't even scream as the very last molecule was cut in half and Buu was defeated. Sliced into oblivion. It was over. Heaven was greatly harmed, reality slightly altered, but Otherworld remained. With Buu defeated once and for all, Shin, Kibito, and the Elder Kai thanked the heroes for saving the universe. Many souls needed to be healed, and many more worlds needed to be restored. Gohan and Trunks fly over to Vegito, hugging him as they both call him father. Grandpa Gohan holds on to Vegito's hand, beaming with pride. Should he still call him grandson or grandsons? He wasn't sure. The fusion laughs nervously, as he starts to wonder how he's gonna break the news to Bulma and Chi-Chi, and then it broke off. Goku and Vegeta were once again separated. Looks like it wasn't permanent after all. Vegeta thanks everyone for the help. Vegeta walks over to shake Pikkon's hand, thanking him for his help. Their rematch may not have come, but fighting side by side with him was just as good. Pikkon says that they can just have a rematch soon, but Vegeta stays quiet. You want to go back, don't you? Vegeta turns to face Grandpa Gohan with a warm smile. Go on, head back home. There's a lot of people waiting for you. Are you sure? You don't have to ask me for permission, Vegeta. You've never done that before. But if you ask me, you fought so hard to protect us all, you've earned it. You can be happy again. Will you come with me? No, my boy. I feel that it's about time I settle down here. Maybe find a cute lady or two to keep me company, but it's definitely not your time yet. Vegeta, ever since I met you and Kakarot, I knew you were going to do great things. There was always good in you. You just needed to see it. I'll see you soon, my boy. Take care of your brother. You two will always have each other. Yes. Thank you, Gohan. No, thank you for everything, grandfather. You gave me everything. As you have me too. Farewell. You'll always be my grandson. Goku pats his brother on the back, saying that if he's gonna come with them, then they better hurry. They gotta go to planet Namek and use the Dragon Balls there to revive people and restore everything back to normal. And revive a certain someone. Right, Vegeta? Goku expected Vegeta's usual comebacks, but instead, he just smiled at him.
Let's go home, Kakarot. I have a promise to keep.
Goku was taken aback, but he smiled back at his brother. The Z-Fighters laughed in celebration. Vegeta stands over the remains of the Otherworld arena as the prince let the feeling flow over him. This was a feeling of happiness, of something else. Content, delight. He knew he was going back home, to Earth. No matter how hard he tried, it seemed like he could never get too far away from Earth. Who could have thought that the prince of the Saiyan race could have felt this way about such a planet? Vegeta looked at the clouds, ready to return to the arms of his family and friends, and above all, ready to see the surprise on Bra's, Bulma's, and the Pilaf gang's face. He was ready. He was ready to live on Earth one more time.
Is somebody going to make a wish or what?
Thanks for watching this brand new Dragon Ball What If story. That was the end of the Z portion of What If Goku and Vegeta went to Earth together. I'm gonna be making a quote-unquote full story combining everything we have so far, because the series has become so long already. And afterwards, seeing how it does, I'll continue with Dragon Ball Super. So, if you want to see more of the series, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you're thirsty for more Dragon Ball stuff, then I have a whole 2 hours full of Dragon Ball facts and trivia in my 2 Dragon Ball icebergs. As always, thank you to the patrons of the channel: Lost Saiyan 997, Orange Crimsicle, Sunbloom the Flower Gen, Chris Macareno, Yo Mama 420, Mao Lick, Dad D, Cyber Samurai, Beastie Man 420, Faisal Alsharef, Akko, Zanos, D-Man for Life, Marlon Gonzalez, Blaze 9526, Crazed, PlayStation CK, Free Flow Highway, Shane K, True Lightning Striker, Ghost 1571, Kaiser Jirachi, Trench Rules, D-Man Plays 22, Jim G, Jerome Foster, Salil Paranjape, Keith Grimes, and the real Samuel Randall. As always, thank you for supporting the channel. If you wanna watch videos early, get access to Patreon exclusive audio dramas, and stuff like that, then consider becoming a Patreon. It's the best way to support me. Anyways guys, until we meet again. See ya!